Hey everybody, my name is Jacoby, and I'm a diehard Denver Bronco fan. Welcome to my channel, Pro Draft Pick, where I'm going to do an analysis of the 2022 NFL Draft picks by the Denver Broncos. Let's get started. So, I think it's important to recognize that the Broncos' first round pick was given up to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for Russell Wilson. So, while they didn't have a first round pick, they did get something in exchange for that first round pick, and well, they got one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But my focus today is going to be really on focusing on what the Denver Broncos, who they picked, and the different athletes that they're joining the Denver Broncos team. So for starters, and their first pick that they chose in the last pick of the second round was Nick Bonito. I'm super excited about this guy for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to speak about his strengths and his weaknesses. Starting off with his strengths, and I think most importantly, I think what the Broncos got with this guy is a pass rush specialist, somebody who is really one of the best, if not the best, in this draft at getting to the quarterback. This guy reminds me, and this is a lot of praise, but he reminds me a little bit of two guys. One, Von Miller. Why? Because this guy has his first quick step and can bend. I haven't seen a guy have a quick step like this to get to the quarterback since a guy like Von Miller came out of Texas A&M. Now, Von Miller was a better prospect and a better pass rush specialist than this guy was. But this guy has a 1.53 10-yard split. Von Miller had a 1.63. This guy coming off his first 10 yards, his first step is quicker than that of Von Miller's coming out of the draft. It's saying a lot. This guy can bend. One thing that really made Von Miller different and made him great was his ability to bend. This guy, Nick Benito, has that element in his game. He can bend. Um, this guy can bend and he can get to the quarterback really fast. So this guy, what is different and unique about him is the fact that he is a pass rush specialist. He can get to the quarterback and he can get, and what his art is that he is quick with his first step and he can bend and get around those tackles like you see right there. So that I love because that's, you can't coach that. You can't manufacture that typically. So the fact that he's got that skill set is phenomenal because then you can build his other skill sets like strengths. So which is his weaknesses. His weakness is the fact that he's a little bit undersized. He's a liability probably in the run game. But Broncos are going to use this guy on you know, clear third down situations, pass situations. I think you can put him in on first and second down too. Let the guy learn, let the guy grow, type of thing. He's going to be part of the rotation with Randy Gregory, with Bradley Chubb, um, and some of the other guys the Broncos have there that they're gonna use for pass rushing. So Nick Benito, excellent pick considering where we got him at the end of the second round, 64th pick overall. Again, what he does better than anybody else is the fact that he can get to the quarterback fast. He's got that first quick step and he can bend. And I love that about this guy. And I'm excited about having him on the Denver Broncos team. For the second um, overall pick, the Broncos got tight end out of UCLA, Greg Dulcich. This guy was another great pickup. Um, Arguably the best tight end in the draft. I know there was another tight end out of Colorado State that went before him. I'm not going to do a comparison. I'm just going to speak about this guy. This guy is a converted wide receiver. And, when I hear a converted wide receiver, that gets me excited because, quite frankly, in a pass happy league, you're going to use your tight ends a lot of the cases um, for throwing. And the Broncos are going to throw the ball with Russell Wilson. You don't get a guy like Russell Wilson unless you're going to start throwing the ball. And, to have a big guy like this who can run as a converted wide receiver, what does that mean? His route running is probably better than most of your average tight ends. His feet are better. His eyes are better. His hands are better. This guy's a catch. He catches balls first and runs routes first before he was a blocker. So we'll talk about his weaknesses, and blocking is certainly one of those areas that he needs to develop. But he's got a big enough frame and size. You just got to put him in the way pretty much. But I love this guy. I think he's a great pickup. I think you add him with Judy, Sutton, Patrick, Hamler. Um, you've got and then Albert O, of course, you've got an arsenal of guys there that have size, that have speed, that have quickness, that have good separation, that have route running. I mean, Russell Wilson is going to have a ton of guys to throw the football to, and this guy is super exciting to bring him on the Denver Bronco team. So excited to have this guy. Obviously, the things that you got to work on is blocking, and they kept on saying he's a willing blocker, noting the fact that he's got a lot of area room to grow in that. But that's something you can coach, right? You can coach somebody how to block better and get in better position and put where their hands are going to be, right? And it's not like this guy is a stick. I mean, look at him. He's got a big enough arms and legs and whatnot. I also like his personality. I think he's going to he has shades of Gronk in him when it comes to his personality. I don't think we're seeing it yet, but give this guy a year or two in the Broncos locker room, this guy's going to be cracking jokes. He's going to be fun to be around. You should have seen his hair when he came into the Bronco facility. This guy's legit. So the fact that we got him in the late or in the third round, steal, great value. Um, Makes you not miss the fact that we didn't have a first rounder when you get two guys like Nick Benito and Dulcich. I mean, these two themselves are solid guys. But the Broncos' good draft didn't stop there. For the next pick is Damari Mathis. Now, this guy doesn't get a lot of talk about the Broncos draft. When you think about the Broncos draft, this is not the first guy you think about, and understandably so, because he was the third person that we selected. But I'm going to be honest with you. This guy I'm super excited about, and probably more excited than most. And I'll explain to you why. This guy, first of all, is spewing out with talent. And I think he's got more talent than he even recognizes. I see so much room for growth in this guy. But the point being, he's got all the ingredients to just be a top notch, I think, just shut down corner. And you'll see a lot of his highlights. This guy's got the most fluid feet, quick feet. He's a glove. He's always in position. Um, I do think he can play better on the ball a little bit, but he's got that athletic ability where he can adjust his body really well. This guy reminds me of shades of Champ Bailey, and I know that's saying a lot, but the way he moves his hips, his speed, he ran under a 4.40. He's tall enough. He's like 5'11", almost 6 foot. He plays with a physical demeanor. You can see he likes to be intimidating, but really, this guy, his strength is that he is going to be a man coverage guru. You put this guy on just about anybody, he's going to be able to cover him and he's going to be in position. He's got that fluidity in his feet. He's fast. He plays fast, and again, he knows how to play the ball too. You can see here making great play on the ball, just solid in position, really solid guy. I mean, you add him to our already Pat Surtain and the guys that we got in the free agency. This is great depth and a guy who can really be a starter for us in a year, 2 years easily. So great pickup in the third round or the fourth round, excuse me, um, and yeah, fourth round. And again, doesn't get spoken of enough about, but I'm super happy about this guy. All right, so next up is, and I'm not even going to be able to say his name right, but I'll try. Um, um, Ioma Uwazurki. Okay, sorry, buddy, but tried. Now, this guy, here's what I like. I think the Broncos felt like they missed on Shelby Harris. Tall guy, right? Blocks those passes down into the outer scrimmage. And what did they go do? They go get a 6'6" guy, right? Lean, tall guy. Played to some different positions on the defensive line there. I like the pick a lot. Um, this guy's strength again is the fact that for a tall guy, he's going to be able to bat those passes down. He's going to be able to wreak havoc. He's going to be able to, block those passing lanes for the quarterback and disrupt him. Um, and with long arms and tall body, he takes up a lot of space. But the thing is about him is that he's also athletic, and so that's a great combination. When you get those taller guys, they are not as athletic, and so you can see a common theme here with the Broncos here on defense is they want to get pressure on the quarterback, and you get those athletic guys who can move their hands quick, who can slice and dice, right? You're getting more of a pass rusher than you are getting a bull rusher and somebody who's going to just clog the middle. So that I don't view him as a clogger, but he's got enough strength and girth to him that he could be a clogger. Um, and so there's a lot to be excited about this guy. I think also again good value. Some people were talking about him in the third round. We got him in the fourth round. So Again, great adder. I do think he reminds me of Shelby Harris, and so it's not surprising the Broncos go and get somebody that reminds them of the guy that they had to give up to get Russell Wilson, similar to Dulcich. And so here we are with another defensive guy to rotate in. I think he's solid. I think he stays on the Broncos team for a while and definitely contributes. And is going to be the guy there in for the third downs, get to the pass, put pressure on the passer and so forth. So solid pickup. Now next up is Montreal Washington. Now this one's an interesting pick because you know I had different feelings about this guy. Now, first of all, like everyone highlights his Florida game, and he absolutely had a phenomenal Florida game. He scored from pretty much three positions: running back, wide receiver, and kick returner. Which, by the way, I was hoping that we were going to get a guy who does all those types of three things. I was looking for you know, a Darren Sproles kind of guy in this draft, and I think we got it. We got one of those guys who can fit that mold. The thing is the Broncos are going to talk about him as a returner. I want the Broncos to use him on offense as well. Running back and wide receiver, because the Broncos got to get more creative. You got to use this guy like a Percy Harvin. He's not a Percy Harvin, but you got to use him like a Percy Harvin. You got to use him like a Debo Samuel. He's not a Debo Samuel. You got to use him like a Debo Samuel. That's his skill set. And so, you got to play to his strengths. And here's what I like about this guy that I found out later. Okay. First of all, this guy loves football. Secondly, he gives 100% every time he plays. Thirdly, he's a super smart dude. Like he knows what he's good at, what he can do. He's shifty enough. The thing is, he doesn't have like incredible shiftiness or incredible breakaway speed, although he's fast enough. So what you want is you're going to give him a shot for sure. And look, time is going to tell if this guy's going to pan out. He's one of those guys I feel like, okay, the guy that we had to do who did the punt returns for us last year. I forget what his name was, but oh yeah, Dante Spencer. Like he just didn't cut it for us. He just didn't do enough for us, right? Can this guy do more than Deontay Spencer? And the thing is about this guy is he's got scrappiness to him, right? He's got scrappiness, and usually guys who are scrappier do better because these guys don't care if they get hurt. They're just like they love football. Look at him, put his hand down, lifted himself up, running off to the catch. This is a solid dude if it comes together, if it works. This guy can really make it work. He reminds me of a KJ Hamler a little bit with the fact that he can return. I think he offers more versatility than KJ Hamler, to be honest with you. And so, arguably, this guy can be our slot wide receiver and compete with KJ Hamler as our slot wide receiver and really overtake his position if he pans out, if he becomes the person that we think he can become. And here's what he has to his advantage of why he can become the person I think he can become is because of his football character, football IQ, scrappiness, the love for the game that he has, the fact that he was a leader on that team, and just like this guy puts it all on the line essentially. Look at that. So there's a lot to be excited about this pick. But the thing is, you don't want to get too excited about a guy of this role, these nature, because it's harder to convert in the NFL. NFL, everyone's faster, stronger, and what worked in college doesn't always work in the pros. But if you got a competitive chip on your shoulder, that goes a long way. And this guy definitely has that. And that's what gets me more excited about him than not. See his breakaway speed here. Look at this. Boom. That's exactly what you want to see. He's creating more separation as he gets down the field. He's creating more separation. Love it. Broncos got Russell Wilson, another weapon here. Something to be really excited about. All right. Next up, we got is Luke Wattenberg. Now, I'm not huge on I'm not the best at analyzing offensive line, but here's what I'll say about this guy, right? A buddy of mine is a huge Washington State football guy, and he tells me this guy's legit. Now, here's the thing about him. Obviously, he's your size, right? When you want to draft somebody in the NFL, you got to make sure they have the size necessary to compete in the NFL. This guy has it, right? Tall guy. The thing about him that is really good, look, he gives you position and versatility. That's a huge plus. You can play him at center, you can play him at guard, you can potentially play him at tackle. You want those kind of guys on your roster, and he does that. Thing about him also is, he was a solid contributor and starter on his team. He's smart. He's got a good football IQ. That's great. Those are the types of things that it's harder to coach. So he's got that good football IQ. So he's athletic. He's strong. He's tall. He can move, which is great. He's got position versatility. What you're going to want to see him do better at is be more of a mauler, right? So you're going to want him to work on his strength, work on his bodily strength, and get in position to get more strength, right? Because these defensive tackles in the NFL, they ain't small. So you want to be able to see that convert. Um, and he's a developmental guy. He's a guy that could be a starter for us in a couple of years. And that's the thing about it, is that he could actually be a starter. A lot of these guys you pick in the late rounds, you're just picking them sometimes to hope that they work out. But this guy's got a lot of good things to be excited about. He's got the size, football IQ, and he's got the agility that you'd like. And I think you put strength, you build strength, you build coach him up. He could be a good rotational guy, excellent depth, guy to fill in at different positions if something goes on. So super stoked about this guy. All right. Now this guy here, Matt Henningsen from Wisconsin. Like, you thought the draft was over after maybe Luke Wattenberg, and we start going with the tackles. You're like, all right, from here, it's just going to go downhill pretty much. But no, this guy reminds me of like another Derek Wolf's type of guy. Um, like tall guy, strong defensive tackle, leader on his team, scrappy, like excellent height but athleticism. Look at him run with that football. Um, this is a great find in the late rounds. Like, this guy can stick on the Broncos team for the next 4 years and be part of the rotation, no problem. Like, easily play him at defensive end. Like, look at the size on that dude. You know what I'm saying? He's got the tools that you want. Um, let's see here. Let's see what his height weight is. Matt Henningsen, 6'3", 289 pounds. Again, the Broncos focusing on big, solid dudes who give you the ability to put pressure on the quarterback. That's great. And that's what this guy does. And you get him in the late, I don't know, sixth round or something. Like, that's phenomenal. So I'm super stoked about this guy. I think this guy's great to have on the team. His personality seems super, like, energetic, upbeat. Um, I think he's going to be a solid addition to the Broncos rotation. Again, great value at the end of the draft here. And last but not least, we got Faion Hicks. Um, this guy, let's see here. Oh, I'm missing one guy. Let me come back here. Look at this. Delarian Turner Yell. How could I miss this guy? This guy, right? When you go back to the draft, it's funny that happened to me. I skipped him because it's like the Broncos got all these studs, and then you're like, oh yeah, Delarian Turner Yell. We also got him too, and we got him in the middle of the draft. And this guy, there's a lot to be excited about. Okay, I'll tell you something why I love this guy. First of all, number one is this guy is a physical presence at the safety position. I personally love safeties that provide a physical presence. Look at Kareem Jackson, the way he plays, right? This guy's got a similar type of nature in him, in that he provides a physical presence. But look, a lot of these highlights you're seeing too, he's got great ball skills. All right. He's got great ball skills. He's got some good speed on run. I ran under a 4.5 with his height, weight, and demeanor. This was a steal. Like, this literally was a steal. This guy can be an easily starter, replace Kareem Jackson when he's done on our team. And the thing is you're going to be like, look at him. He supports against the run and gets the pass. This is exactly the kind of guy you want. He's perfectly sized for the NFL. He's not too skinny. In fact, he's got more girth and bulk to him than a lot of these other safeties do. And so, and coming from a program like Oklahoma, there's a lot to be excited about this guy. And they say, special teams is going to be where he's going to make his biggest difference. Absolutely, I can see that without a doubt. But I can see this guy as becoming our starter on strong safety. He's going to get into the rotation this year and next year. Solid mid-round pickup. Huge. Great, great guy to bring onto the team. Look, good ball skills, fluid hips, just all around, you know? So super stoked about this guy. All right, Faion Hicks. All right, this guy, obviously our last pick, and from Wisconsin. It's always nice when you get some of these bigger, better school athletes. Wisconsin being one of those. This guy, what stands out to me, number one, is again athletic guy. Also, but his forte is he plays strong, and he's tough. Okay, he didn't get a lot of picks, but this guy is physical in nature, right? He's another one of those scrappy quarterbacks. Throws his body around, doesn't man gain or hurt. Um, you know, just has that physical nature. And in the NFL, it's when you play defense, you want to have guys who are tough and who play physical. And this guy is one of those guys. You know, his skill set as a corner. He's not a Damari Mathis kind of guy. He's got his forte is that he's more physical, he's more tough, but he's not slow. He's a fast dude too. Doesn't have the best height on him, but again, a rotational kind of guy, developmental kind of guy, um, and you bring him in if you have some injuries and stuff like that. But again, he's a good, solid guy to bring on the team. He's got a bigger gap to fill to try to become a starter. But at least rotationally, again, when you find guys who are physical, you find guys who are tough. Those guys end up staying in the NFL longer. You can't get beat, and he's got enough speed. I wonder what his 40 time was. I don't know if it tells us here or not. Let's see. Yeah, he's a smaller corner with shorter arms and average top end speed. He's got a quick feet and good burst. He hasn't intercepted a pass since 2008. So, he's got good feet, good burst. That you want that as a corner. If you're going to get a smaller guy, you got to at least have good feet and good burst. But the thing about him is that he's a physical corner, and that's good too. So he's not going to be a liability in the run game. You don't want guys to be corners to be liability in the run game. He's not going to be a liability in the run game. But you bring him in seventh round, see how he does, how he competes, if he rises to the top or not. So anyhow, this is the summary of the Denver Broncos. So overall, I think for not having a first round pick, although we got Russell Wilson with that, the Broncos got a lot of really good, solid guys to add to the team, to add to depth, to add to competition, and I earnestly believe that arguably we have multiple potential starters on this team. Nick Benito, I think, is going to be a rotation guy for a start to start, but like you're going to rely on this guy a lot more once you start realizing this guys can get to the quarterback super easily, and he'll play a lot more. So can't say he's necessarily going to be a starter, but he's going to play enough where you're going to consider him a starter. He's going to get more than 40, 50, 60% sometimes of the snaps. And if we ever go down with injuries, this guy can definitely start with us. But the point is you got a guy who when it's time to put pressure on the quarterback, no one's going to do it better and quicker and faster than him. By the way, the second guy that he reminds me of, and this is a lot of praise, but is Micah Parsons. Okay, he's a poor man's Micah Parsons in a lot of ways. He's not a Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons has a more complete game than this guy. Micah Parsons is not a liability in the run game. He's not just finesse and speed. He's got power too, and that's what this guy doesn't have. But if you can get him to build strength, that's something you can That's something you can work on. You can work on building strength. But you can't work on somebody bending like that. You can't find those guys. And so I'd rather find a bender and build his strength game than find somebody who can't do that speed and bend, because now you got somebody who can get around the corner quick and fast. And that's what we have in Nick Benito. But potential starter Greg Dulcich. Again, we play two tight ends. He's going to be the second tight end for sure. If Alvaro goes down, he's starting. If not, this guy's going to easily could be a favorite target of Russell Wilson. I can see it. He's again starter material. Damari Mathis, starter material. Okay, Uwazurki could be a starter, but it really depends on whether or not he's a liability in the run game. You can't play a guy who's going to be a liability in the run game in the first and second rounds. I'm not saying that he is. He played all four downs, obviously, in college football, so it's not like he can't do it in the NFL. But he's got to show us that he can handle he can stop the run, as well as put pressure on the quarterback. And so I like him. I think you give him a couple years, he could be more of a developmental guy, although he's already been playing football for a long time. He's 24 years old. So you're actually already getting somebody who's pretty developed with this guy. So you could get him in the rotation more early on, especially in passing downs when you know the quarterback is going to throw the ball, you want to get your tallest guys up there, block those passes. So I really like him a lot. Um, Delarian Turner-Yell, I do think he's starter material and at strong safety. After Kareem Jackson, this guy can definitely come in and compete for the starter position. I think we're going to love the fact that he's on the field. You pair him up with Justin Simmons, you got fluid and you got power, and this guy can do it both. That's the crazy thing. Usually, when you got guys who are more better in the box, they're not good up top. This guy can do both, which is interesting. Now, I'm not saying he's the best at playing center field because he's not. But for his forte, a guy who's going to definitely compete on special teams and who's going to help support the run and is a physical presence, the fact that he can play center field if you want him to is solid, right? A lot because usually when you get those kind of guys, you don't feel like you can play them in center field. He ain't bad in center field, so I can see him starting. Montreal Washington, again, I think he's going to start at kick returner and punt returner. The question is whether or not he's going to get plays in the passing game. I'd like to see him get plays in the run game. I want the Broncos to start doing jet sweeps, use him like a Percy Harvin, Russell Wilson type of situation. That's what I want to see from this guy. I think he's got the scrappiness to become a starter. But the Broncos receiver room is packed and it's competitive, so it's going to be hard to start on the Broncos wide receiving core. But I think you got to get the right packages in the game. But I want to see a lot of packages with this guy, and I hope Nathaniel Hackett can utilize this guy on the offensive side as well, not just as a returner. Luke Wattenberg, again, this is another one of those guys you're like, okay, yeah, he's a late draft pick, but you know what? He could see himself starting too. When you're a positional when you have position versatility, injuries go down, you're one of the first to start because you know what? Oh, Luke can play center. Oh, Luke can play guard. Oh, Luke can play tackle. So it's like, let's get Luke in the game. So build that strength and the fact that he's already agile and lean and athletic, that's great. Can't coach those, can't teach those, and he's smart too. Good football IQ. Those are the types of things that help you rise to the top and become a starter in this league. So I can see him as a starter. Matt Henningsen, I'm super stoked about this guy, and we got him in the 6th round. The fact that we got him in the 6th round is no indication that this guy is not going to play for us. Not at all. This guy is a monster, and he has got a great motor on him. Let's see what it says here on ESPN. Shoots his hands, locates the ball, and gets off blocks in time to make plays. He has the first step in active hands to disrupt plays in the backfield. He has some upside as a pass rusher, but he's not a polished hands fighter. Doesn't appear to have a plan at times. Installs out too much at the point. He's versatile enough to line up in defensive tackle and even man front or defensive end on the odd man in front. So again, a guy like this who has the size 6'3", right, 290, can both path rush and against the run. Yeah, this guy's going to find himself on the starting lineup. So it's like he's just got to stay healthy, and he's a Wisconsin dude working in his favor. So the only guy I don't see as much starting potential is Faion Hicks. It's going to be a hard thing for him to make the team, I think, especially with the type of talent the Broncos brought in. But you never know about these kind of guys, so he's going to have to really work hard to stay on this team. I think Faion Hicks, a little bit undersized, and does he do anything special and great? No, but he's got a lot of skills that you want to see. He is quick-footed. He's got a burst, and he plays physical. That's good. But in the NFL, it's another level. So can he not be a liability on the field when he plays? That's what we're going to find out. So I truly see Nick Benito, Greg Dulcich, Damari Mathis, Uraziki. These a lot of starters I see here. A lot of starters I see here. I think the one of the easiest starters is going to be Greg Dulcich, Damari Mathis. These are going to be some of the earlier starters. I think Matt Henningsen is going to get more playing time than you think he is. Obviously, Montreal Washington on the kick returner is going to get a lot of time too. Anyway, guys, this is getting towards 30 minutes. This is what I'd like to do for fun. This is my analysis of the Denver Bronco draft. Again, overall, solid. A lot of guys who do specific things for you, who is going to really add competition. and give you good depth, who have starter potential, and who could be a part of the core of our team moving forward each year, moving forward here. Solid job overall. That's my 2 cents, guys.